Remember when milk felt simple? When it came in glass bottles on your doorstep, tasted like it came straight from the farm, and you never had to second guess what was inside. For many Australians, those days feel like a fading memory. Let's be honest, the shelves are now packed with options claiming to be healthier, fresher, or more ethical. But behind those glossy labels, some brands are cutting corners in ways that might shock you. And here's the thing, we've all felt that moment of hesitation in the dairy aisle, wondering what we're really bringing home. Today, we're uncovering 9 milk brands that Australians might want to think twice about, based on controversies, quality concerns, and consumer feedback. But we won't leave you hanging. Stick around, because we'll also share 3 brands that are genuinely worth your money and trust. Will your favourite make the list? Let's get started with the ones that are raising the most red flags. Number 9. Coles brand milk. Sold under the Coles supermarket label, this private label milk is one of the most widely available and budget-friendly options in Australia. But affordability can come at a cost. Investigations have highlighted that Coles, along with other major retailers, has contributed to a pricing war that has squeezed Australian dairy farmers to the brink. A 2016 ACCC inquiry detailed how reduced retail milk prices left many farmers receiving well below the cost of production. One farmer described it as selling our hard work for less than a cup of coffee. Think about that. When the price tag is too good to be true, someone down the line is paying for it, and in this case, it's often the people who raise the cows and deliver the milk. That seems to be the heart of it, doesn't it? But wait until you see who's next. Number 8. Dairy Farmers. This iconic Australian brand, now owned by Japan's Kirin Holdings through Lion Dairy and Drinks, is often associated with heritage and trust. But here's the catch. In recent years, the image has taken a few hits. One major concern came in 2018 when Dairy Farmers was scrutinised for its use of imported milk solids in some of its products, a move that frustrated many loyal customers who believed they were buying 100% Aussie milk. The label did say, made in Australia from at least 80% Australian ingredients, but that left a pretty big question mark over what was in the other 20%. Can it really be that authentic when a fifth of what's inside remains a mystery? Consumers called it misleading, and several advocacy groups pushed for more transparency in labelling. To make matters worse, in 2020, Lion was forced to recall certain milk products due to E. coli contamination at one of its regional facilities. That's no small slip in an industry built on trust and cleanliness. If you're reaching for Dairy Farmers thinking it's the same goodness your grandparents drank, it might be time to read the fine print. So we've covered some surprising turns with Dairy Farmers, but our number 7 pick might actually raise your eyebrows even more. Number 7. Devondale. Let's turn our attention to this brand, marketed by Saputo Dairy Australia. Devondale has long built its brand on wholesome imagery and regional pride. But here's the thing, behind that pastoral marketing lies a concerning disconnect. In 2022, Saputo faced criticism for cutting contracts with several smaller dairy suppliers in Victoria and South Australia by leaving local farmers scrambling for new buyers almost overnight. One Victorian farmer told ABC News, "We gave them decades of loyalty, and they dropped us like we were nothing." Think about that. These are real families whose livelihoods were upended with barely a warning in communities where dairy isn't just a product, it's a way of life. And that's not all. A 2021 Choice report highlighted inconsistencies in Devondale's UHT milk that wasn't Jane's 2021-2.org, with tests showing elevated levels of oxidized fat compounds, which can impact flavor and shelf life. While not necessarily unsafe, it certainly calls into question quality control when compared to fresher, more transparent alternatives. For a brand that sells itself so heavily on trust and family values, these issues leave a sour taste. That brings us to number 6, and I have a feeling this one might surprise you. Number 6. Paul's Milk. Produced by Lactalis Australia, part of the global dairy giant Lactalis Group, Paul's is a long-time staple in Australian fridges. But here's where things get concerning. Beneath that familiar blue and white packaging lies a series of issues that have raised serious questions. In 2020, Paul's was at the center of a legal dispute that alleged misleading labeling practices, specifically concerning claims about the health benefits of its milk products. The ACC accused the company of exaggerating the probiotic content in its Paul's physical range, leading to confusion for health-conscious buyers. So, what went wrong? While Lactalis denied any wrongdoing, this case was just one of several incidents that have gradually eroded consumer confidence, and there's more to the story. In 2021, workers at Lactalis facilities went on strike over unsafe working conditions and unfair wages, creating further concerns about the company's ethical standards. As one union official put it, people are being asked to do more work with less support, and it's not sustainable. That strikes a chord with many Australians, doesn't it? We expect the brands we trust in our homes to also treat their workers with dignity. Let's see who's holding down the number 5 spot. And this one's a story that's still unfolding in real time. Number 5. Woolworths' own brand milk. Much like its Coles counterpart, Woolworths' private label milk is a familiar sight in fridges across the country, often chosen for its low price and convenience. But here's the catch. Affordability comes with hidden costs. Over the past decade, Woolworths has been heavily criticised for its role in the supermarket milk price wars, and EE, which have had devastating effects on the Australian dairy industry. A 2018 Dairy Senate inquiry pointed directly to supermarkets' pricing models, with Woolworths named specifically as contributing to farmer distress and unsustainable business practices. One dairy farmer from New South Wales told SBS, "We've gone from running a proud family business to barely surviving just to keep milk on supermarket shelves for $1 a litre." Think about that. Real families pushed to the brink just so we can save a few cents. But that's not the only concern. In 2020, Woolworths was also called out by consumer groups for vague product sourcing on its labels, making it difficult for buyers to know where their milk was actually coming from. Let's be honest, if something is sold as Australian milk, it shouldn't take detective work to confirm that. So while the prices might look good at the checkout, the true cost could be much higher for our farming communities and our peace of mind. That brings us to number 4, and I have a feeling this premium-sounding brand might surprise you with what's really happening behind the scenes. Number 4. Ato Milk. This brand markets itself as a premium, science-forward option, promising easier digestion through its exclusive use of A2-beta casein protein. The messaging is sleek, the shelves are stocked, and the price tag is often double that of regular milk. But here's what's raising concerns. In 2021, the ACCC scrutinized A2 Milk's health claims, pushing back on some of its marketing around digestion benefits that, experts argued, lacked consistent clinical backing. While A2 Milk hasn't been found guilty of false advertising, the line between genuine innovation and clever branding has caused confusion. A 2020 study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that, while some individuals did report less bloating with A2 milk, the results weren't conclusive enough to warrant sweeping health promises. Let's be honest, when you're paying up to $5 for a litre believing it's going to solve your stomach issues, you deserve more than inconclusive science. On top of that, some consumers have raised eyebrows over sourcing transparency. A portion of the company's supply now comes from international farms, including in New Zealand and the US, leading to questions like, is this still the Aussie milk we think it is? One customer wrote online, "I switched to A2 for the benefits, A2 to 4, the benefits, but now I just feel like I'm paying more for a label." That sentiment is becoming more and more common. So we've looked at some surprising shakiness behind premium branding, but coming up next at number 3 is a name that many Australians still view as almost synonymous with milk itself. Number 3, Norco. Founded in 1895 and proudly owned by Australian farmers, Norco has long held a reputation as one of the more trustworthy names in dairy. But here's where things get interesting. Even this cherished co-op has not escaped criticism. In 2022, Norco was embroiled in a controversy after receiving nearly $60 million in federal and state funding for flood recovery, and 2022, Norco was embroiled in a controversy that fruits often being shipped pre-cut in bulk treated, in century and fouled, use to fin, in only for a portion of that investment to prioritize factory upgrades over immediate support for affected farmers and workers. Let's be honest, that led to some serious accusations from within the dairy community who felt completely left behind. One concerned employee was quoted by The Guardian saying, "We were told help was coming and then watched it go to machines instead of people." Think about that. It's a complicated situation. A company trying to modernize and stay competitive, yet risking alienation from the very communities it claims to be preserving. And that seems to be the heart of it, isn't it? Sometimes, even the most well-regarded brands can make decisions that leave a bitter aftertaste for the people who matter most. But wait until you hear about our number 2 entry, a brand that continues to raise eyebrows with its slick marketing and unresolved issues. Number 2. Big M. This flavoured milk brand, owned by Lion Dairy and Drinks, is often remembered fondly by Australians who grew up with it. But nostalgia may be hiding some serious concerns. Let's be honest, in recent years, Big M has faced backlash for its high sugar content, especially in limited edition flavours, which can pack over 30 grams of sugar per serve. For a product so often marketed to teens and younger consumers, that's no small issue. And here's the thing. Health experts and parents alike have voiced concern, with one nutritionist in the Sydney Morning Herald saying, "It's more dessert than dairy." Think about that. Despite increasing criticism, the brand has doubled down on novelty flavors and social media gimmicks, possibly to divert attention from nutritional scrutiny. In 2020, a failed attempt to launch a Vegemite latte Big M received more ridicule than praise, yet hinted at a troubling trend. How far can a brand lean into marketing while ignoring health implications? Fun packaging can't mask what's actually inside, can it? That brings us to number 1, and I have a feeling this final entry might just change the way you shop for milk forever. Number 1, Farmers Union. Originally founded as a cooperative supporting South Australian farmers, Farmers Union has become a beloved name, mainly for its iced coffee range. But here's the catch. While the brand trades heavily on its Aussie roots and down-to-earth image, it's now entirely owned by the multinational beverage company Kirin Holdings, the same parent as Dairy Farmers. And with that shift, many loyal customers have started to question whether the ethos of local support still holds. In 2023, controversy arose when regional reports surfaced that some Farmers Union milk products contained less than 70% Australian ingredients, despite labelling that gave the impression of being fully Australian made. One concerned shopper wrote, "It feels like we're being sold a story, not just milk, and it's not the story we signed up for." Think about that. When you buy something for its Australian heritage, shouldn't you be getting the real deal? On top of that, long-time fans have noticed changes in formulation, with some online forums describing a watery off-taste in recent batches. Is it still the same product people fell in love with years ago? Transparency has been lacking in addressing these claims, And for a brand built on trust and nostalgia, the silence speaks volumes. And that completes our journey through the brands that might make you think twice on your next shopping trip. But thankfully, it's not all bad news in the dairy aisle. Let's shift gears and talk about 3 milk brands that are actually worth your money, your trust, and your fridge space. These brands have prioritized transparency, supported local farmers, and earned their loyal following for all the right reasons. And here's the thing, when you find a company doing it right, they deserve our recognition. Whether you're after quality, ethics, or simply a better tasting pour in your morning coffee, these top picks give you all that without the baggage. So let's start with a quiet standout that has earned praise from both health experts and everyday Aussies alike, a brand that might restore your faith in what milk can be. Coming in strong as our first top pick is Barumba Organics. Let's be honest, this Queensland-based certified organic dairy brand has carved out a loyal following for all the right reasons. Their commitment to ethical farming means their cows actually graze freely on chemical-free pastures, and their milk comes to you without synthetic additives, preservatives, or GMOs. And here's the thing, testers consistently praise Barumba's milk for its rich creaminess and natural taste, with nutritionists often recommending it for those looking to minimize chemical exposure in their diet. Think about that. In an industry where transparency is increasingly rare, Barumba is fiercely open about its sourcing and sustainability practices. You can trace their products right back to the farm, a level of clarity that feels like a breath of fresh air in today's cluttered dairy landscape. If you're looking for a milk that genuinely aligns with your values without sacrificing taste, Barumba Organics seems to be the real deal. Another excellent choice is Schultz Organic Dairy. Based in southwest Victoria, this family-run farm has been setting the bar for sustainable practices and small batch integrity. Let's be honest, their approach to dairy feels like a return to basics in all the right ways. Their cows are grass-fed year-round, and their processing facilities are designed to minimize waste and energy use. And here's the thing, what stands out most is the simplicity of their product, with just 1 or 2 ingredients per bottle and 0 unnecessary additives. Customers often talk about the old-fashioned, full-bodied flavor that reminds them of how milk used to taste. As one review put it perfectly, this is the kind of milk that actually makes cereal exciting again. Think about that. With a focus on biodynamic principles and transparent farming, Schultz isn't trying to dominate shelves with flash. They're simply doing milk the right way. If you want to support local Australian agriculture and taste the difference in every pour, this is a brand worth tracking down. So there you have it, 9 milk brands Australians might want to avoid, and 3 that are truly worth welcoming into your home. What about you? Have you had experiences with any of the brands we covered? Did your everyday choice make the top list? Or are you reconsidering what's in your fridge? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If this video helped you feel more confident in the dairy aisle, give it a like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you'll always stay in the know. Stay informed and shop smart. We'll see you next time.